All right. Let's see. So we are doing. Oh, so if you don't know, this is Mark Deveretsky's Endgame manual, and we are going over pawn endgame. So, and yeah, this is the subsection semi-stalemate. So we just did stalemate last episode. Now we're gonna go into semi-stalemates. Okay, and I'm just gonna read from the text here. Semi-stalemates. This is what I call the situation when the king is stalemated on the edge or in the corner of the board, but there are still pawn moves left to make. Instead of stalemate, what we get is zugzwang, usually a fatal one for the stalemated side. Here are two simple examples. So I'm gonna set one up. Thank you. I that's very kind, but you know, sometimes I lose, sometimes I win. Simple as that. You know, the real purpose for me being on is not to play blitz, but to actually teach some lessons. Okay, this is Frank Marshall versus Reddy. Marshall actually has a chess tournament here in New York City, and it's the most popular and I think one of the oldest. I think the story is it used to be his house until he turned it into a chess club, and it's on 10th Street. So if you're ever in New York City, definitely visit that club. Okay. All right. So Deveretsky, bam, bam. And so it is white to move. White to move. All right, and then he gives g5 or king e5, whichever one is fine. So g5, king c6, king e5, king d7, king d5, exclamation point. If king f6, then king captures d6, king captures f7, king e5 plus over minus. Oh wait, minus over plus. Right, so we're not going to do that. We're not going to mess up like that. So instead, we're going to play king d5. Right, and after king d5, king d8, king c6, king c8, d7 check, king d8, and king d6. Now the king is stalemated, but he has pawn moves, right? And very simple example. Oh, also, by the way, if you don't know what stalemate is basically where the king has no legal moves and none of his other pieces can move. What Mark Deveretsky is trying to say here is that even though the king is stalemated, sometimes, so it puts him into a zugzwang, which is that he doesn't have enough good moves, or he doesn't have any good moves. Any move that he makes is a bad move. Okay, so right now he's in zugzwang and he has to make one of these pawn pushes, and when he does, we'll be there to queen our pawn and checkmate them. Okay, so that's what he was trying to illustrate. We're gonna set up another position. Bam. Okay, let me take my phone off of low power mode because it keeps turning off on me. So I have an iPhone 6. I don't know if you guys have a problem with this, but I feel like the battery just drains so fast on all iPhones. Like after you have them for like about, I would say 3 months. Let's see. Let's go to battery. Okay, great. And I just can't. It can't keep a charge, but whatever. I wonder if he illustrates the one that was played. There's an amazing endgame that I promised, like I think 3 episodes to show, and I will show it this game because it is so amazing. Okay, so I guess black's going down, and it is white to move. Okay, and king f, so bishop f3 check, king g1, bishop h1, exclamation point. So the king is now stalemated, and any move he makes is bad. And after, okay, so after the king takes it, we play king f1, and now he has to make this move. King f1, d5, captures, forward, e3, d7, e2 check. So king captures e2, king g2, king d8, h1 equals queen, queen g5, king h3, queen h5 check, king g2, queen g4 check, king h2. And I think the winning thing here is this move. Right, so because the queen, even though they have both have queens, black's queen can't really do anything except for like sacrifice itself. Maybe playing here and hoping that the queen takes, and stalemate tricks like that. But yeah, that's why. So he said the next example is considerably more difficult and hence interesting. Okay, so let's go set up that one. I am living in New York, Rich, and I chisel with the joke. I thought that was an Australian term when the steak is stale. Stalemate. Oh, I really appreciate chess jokes. Oh no, that's pretty funny. All right. So we're gonna set up the next one. I think this is a pretty easy concept because you don't have to calculate many different lines. It's just like, hey, how do we make the best position possible? And it is white to move. Okay, and so I'm reading from the text here. The straightforward 1b5 leads to the drawn queen endgame with an extra rook pawn. So let's say king captures g2, king b7, king captures h3, king captures a7, king g4 exclamation mark, b6, h3, b7, h2, queen, and queen, and this is a draw. Even so, rook pawns and queens are known to be drawn against queens. Okay, the other more promising plan is to squeeze the enemy king into the corner. However, it requires lengthy and accurate calculation. Ooh. So king d5, king captures g2, king e4, king captures h3, king f3, king h2, king f2. Very nice. So he says that after b5 or a4, Black's king can use the ready's idea to help him get to the queen side in time via king g1, king g4, king g2, king h4, king f3, and we will get there. Okay. So when he plays king f2, when king h2, we play king f2. So h3, he's saying that a6 is inferior because we play a4, and after, oops, sorry, a4, and after h3, a5, king h1, king f3. Wait, sorry. King h1, b5, because we're gonna queen with a check, and h2, king f1. Simple, because we don't want a stalemate. So cool. So king f2, h3, b5, and he said that b4 would be a mistake here, a4 would be a mistake here because of a5. And then this pawn doesn't have any moves, and if you move, then we can do that, or we can do that. Okay, so b5, king h1, king f1, exclam. And he's saying again, not a4, because that would be met by a5. So now black must stalemate his own king when he says a4, a5, since king h2 allows an easy win. Okay. So f1, rook h1, king f1, f1, h2, b6, double exclamation mark, and the only move. It's not a draw because I fuck it up. Oh, cool, no warning. I like this guy. This guy's funny. So we play b6. And now the point is that when he takes, now we're going to play here. And now his king has no moves, his pawn has no moves, so he has to push, and we're not even going to take. We're going to push, and we're going to make a queen. Alright. So king f1, b6, a5, b7, a4, king e2, king g1, and then we know this. King g1, b8, queen, h1 equals queen, queen b6, check. White wants mate, as can easily be seen. Exchanging queen wins also. Okay. So queen b6, oops, sorry, queen b6 from here, king h2, queen d6 check, king g1, queen d4 check, king h2. So he's saying white wants mate, as can easily be seen. Exchanging queens also wins. Queen h4, king g2. So queen g1 doesn't work because of this, right? So, and we have the same position that we had last time. Awesome. This is beautiful. So try to remember this, like, one idea. That's the most important part, really. Remembering this one position and saying, hey, is there a possibility I can get to this if I queen early and they have a rook pawn? Okay, so we're going to go into the next subsection. This is called reserve tempi. So a tempi is, okay, tempo is where, like, let's say a pawn attacks a queen, and obviously you don't want a pawn to take your queen, right? A pawn is worth 1 point, a queen is worth 9 points, so you're going to move your queen away. That is called a tempo. You make your opponent make a move. Tempi are multiple of these things. It happens a lot in like openings where sometimes, like let's say in a queen's gambit, accepted, like you decline it at first, and then finally when they move the bishop to d3, right, like d4 c4 e3, and then they move the bishop to d3, you take on c4 when only when they move their bishop, because now they're down a move. You're gonna get some food. You might watch me later. Awesome. Shizzle, I'm also doing a live stream tomorrow, and I'm most likely gonna do 12 hours. So if you want that chess knowledge, drop on by. Thank you for stopping by today. Okay, so we have already seen more than once how the outcome of a game, this is from the text, may hinge on one side, store of resort pawn Tempi. This is not surprising considering that zigzwang is the fundamental weapon in the majority of pawn endings. And Rehabilitation Man in the chat, how's it going? Who are we learning? We are learning all about endgames across the board, just endgames. This is Mark Dvoretsky's Endgame manual, and I decided that I need to learn this better, and I want to also teach it while I learn it. So you guys get a lesson out of it. I can retain it more, and it's a win-win. And also I upload the streams onto YouTube so that if anybody else wants to follow me on their road to becoming a strong chess player, they have the resources to do it for free. I want to see the chess community grow, and I think the internet is the best thing that's ever happened to the chess community. Best thing since clocks and chess clocks, because games were too slow before. Alright, so the rules involved in use of reserve tempi are simple and self-evident. 1. Use every chance to accumulate reserve tempi and to deprive your opponent of his. Right? So you wanna, 1, get as many tempi, so stop his opponent, like stop your opponent from having moves to make. And they're going to be examples, so it'll be much clearer if you're a visual learner. 2, hold on to them. Do not waste except under absolute necessity. Yeah, this is going to be like, I've done like maybe 15 hours, no, I think almost 20 hours of live streaming and going through the book, and I don't think I'm nowhere near done with the first chapter. I think I'm maybe like 60 or 65% done with the chapter 1. So this is definitely going to be a nice live stream, and I'll play Blitz here and there. Okay, so let's observe these rules in action. The first is illustrated in the following 2 examples. So let's set up that example. Set a position, bam. So also a note, we didn't have an exercise for the semi-stalemate. I think it was just that easy to understand that Mark Dvoretsky just said, hey, we don't need this. So good thing to know. Alright, and it is white to move. Okay, so if I were white here, the move is not on this page. If I were white here, I would just play like this, this immediately. Because that stops his one tempo from going. That one also gives him other moves, so oops, I would do that. But let's see what the text says. Yep, okay. And F5. This move secures white's 2 reserve pawn tempi just enough to squeeze the enemy king at the edge of the board. King captures a4, king c4, king a3, king c3, a4, h4, and this is the reserve tempi that he had, right? King a2, king c2, a3, h5, king a1, king c1. No, sorry. And king c1 is a draw. Okay. Really simple things. This is actually goes hand in hand with the semi-stalemate, right? And we saw that we have reserve moves. This time we had to stalemate them just because they had the extra pawn. Okay. And let's go into the next one. Ooh, this is one of his own games. Despotovic versus Dvoretsky, Moscow team tournament in 1968. So I really like when people go over their own games. I don't know, I kind of like to know what they were thinking or what the thought process was in certain positions. And to become better players, we have to better our thinking in the way we think, or think more efficiently, and to know what matters and what doesn't, so we don't use brain power on the wrong thing. Alright, so let me set this position up for you guys. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm pretty sure that other people in the chat might have your same questions and do not want to ask them, and it might help all of us learn. Alright, it is black to move. And actually, so I have the answer here. It's not an exercise. Exercises in Mark Dvoretsky's Endgame manual do not have answers on them, but this is just one of his games. So I want to see if you can solve it. It's black to move. I'm going to give you. I'll give you 2 minutes, and I'm just gonna go get some water. Just start when the music starts. I just came back to the 2 bits. Wow, thank you so much. King Dave 305, you are the man. Thank you so much for the 2 bits. Alright, now we're winding down. You have another 20 seconds to try to solve this. If you have any answers, put it into the chat. If not, if you just want to enjoy the show, just wait another 20-25 seconds. Oh man, thank you again. Thank you again for the bits. I really, really appreciate it. Um, and I just love seeing like the tip jar, just like boom, 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 boom. It's a really cool animation. Thank you for telling me to get that. All right, so it's black to play here, and okay, so King E6. Okay, so let's go over King E6. So King E6. What would I do with white? I don't know. I think like I just want to solidify here. Yeah. And if takes, right, you have to take. And then maybe H3. H4. I like H3. I have a reserve tempo now. King E5. King E3. And with the outside pass pawn. King E6. King F2. Because the line is here. And I want to triangulate. So if King F7. Maybe King F3, King F6. That's a drawish, right? It's drawish, okay. So that's a good way, but here we're trying to press our advantage. And after what the text says, and I think this is probably the best move, the move that I would play is saying, hey, you know, he has this push, right? Let's just not even allow that, because I have a reserve tempo here. So if I can get opposition, then great. He has no other moves on the board, so any move that he makes, if he is a zugzwang, is bad. So G4. I think, and that is the best try to get an advantage. So I'm gonna read from the text now. So he does recommend G4. And now black has the reserve tempo H6, H5, okay, as previously mentioned. Here the game was adjourned. White sealed the moves King C3. He played King C3, but later resigned without continuing. In view of King E6, King D4, King D6, King C3, King D5, King D3, and now we have H5, the reserve tempo that we needed, and now he has to give way. So if he goes here, then hello, and we get some stuff over here. Okay, yeah. So let's go back. So he said that after. Okay, so after G4, white could have saved himself by playing King E3, King E6, H3. Yes, white loses with either H4 or HG. Okay. He loses his reserve tempo on. Oh, sorry. White either loses with one H4, so he loses. Oops, loses with H4 because after H4, King D5, King D3, and now my reserve tempo is here. Boom. Or after King F2, King D5, H3, H5, saying after you maybe take, if you try to come up, then I am now in control. Very interesting ideas. Very nice. Okay, but let's see. So instead of that, sorry. So G4, King E3, King E6, F Twilight, thanks for being here. King 6 H3, because we can get into the square of the pawn. Remember the square of the pawn. We're always looking to combine ideas here. G captures H. King F2. King D5. White has time to create kingside counterplay. King G1. King C4. King H2. H5. King captures H3. King B3. King H4. Takes. King captures H5. King captures B4. G4. King C3. So after King C3, King captures B4, G4, King captures B4. Sorry, King captures B4. Oh, sorry, G4, FG. Oh, and then he played King C3. Sorry about that, guys. I was like, what's happening here? F5, B4, F6, B3, F7, B2, F8 equals queen. This equals queen. And the queen endgame is drawn. So he resigned in a position that was drawn. But this is Mark Dvoretsky. He probably analyzed this after that. I mean, this is a lot of calculation. He has to look like 20 moves deep, and this is just one line. This is why the endgames are pure calculation. So he has another thing that he has. I don't think he says anything. Oh, okay. He said in the following diagram, so I'm just going to put the diagram up and then I'll read. Alright, so this is the position. It is white to move. And let's see what he has from the text. In the following diagram, white's king has nothing to do on the king side, with the kings on the 4th and 6th rank. Okay. It is easy to establish that the opposition is meaningless on the 4th and 6th rank. So when they're there, the opposition is meaningless. And therefore, white cannot create zigzag. The winning plan will feint with the king on the queen side, then march over to the king side. For this plan to succeed, white will need both of the reserve tempi. With the pawn on b3, the position would be drawn. Okay, with the pawn on b3, the position would be drawn. Wow. So it's important not to lose them on the way. So, oh right, sorry. So this king is actually on f1, so I'm just gonna do some triangulation here. Alright, cool. So king e2, king d7, and he's saying that king b7 would be, king d3, king a6 would be senseless in view of b4 or king c4. King b5. Sorry, he played it. He goes on with this variation: b4, king b5, king c3, king a6, king c4, king b7, king d4, plus over minus. Okay. So after king f1, king e2, king d7, king d3, king e7, king c3. Both sides must keep in mind that, and from the text, that the e6 and c4 squares are mined. After king e6, king c4, black cannot play king e5. In view of b4, king e6, b5. Right, and if he takes, then I have this, right, and I can protect my pass pawn. I'll show that for the viewers, right, and now I'm in time, and this is the golden position. White wins no matter whose turn it is to move. Okay. Okay. If he does not play this, white's king continues on his way to the queen side. Now on king e7, king c4. So if king e7, sorry, king c3, king e7, king c3, king c3, and let's say he plays king c4 here. So on king e7, king. Oh, so he's saying if on king e7 he plays c4 instead, now he can play e6. And he's saying that the king b4, king d5 line is bad. Okay. Okay, so king c3, king e6, king c4, because these squares are mined. And now you have to choose. I'm going to feint to come this way. I'm going to plan to come this way. And you have to come and stop me. And then I can probably just come this way. This is the plan that he's talking about. Alright, so on king e6, king c4, king d7, b4, king b4, king c7, king a5, king b7, b3. The first tempo is used up in order to force the black king away from the king side. King a7, king b4, king b7, okay, king c4, king c7, king d4, king e5, king e7, king e5, king e7, and now he plays b4, crashing in. Wow, what a puzzle. What an amazing puzzle. And that's where we use the second tempo, is what he says. Alright, we're going to look at a tragic comedy. Tragic comedies, for those of you who have not been here before, is where Mark Dvoretsky takes a very, very famous game from really strong grandmasters and points out where they messed up. And it's tragic for their loss, but hilarious, and it really illustrates the point that he's trying to convey. So let's just set up the analysis. Let's try to set up the position. And I think this is pretty easy. Just like give your opponent nowhere to go, and have all the tempi for yourself. But that was so interesting. Like, your focusing has to be really, really on point. Hey, I'm sorry, no links in here. Thank you. Alright, great. And it is white to move. So this is a game versus Kachiani versus Marek Kishinev in 1995. And the text says, on the king side, equality. Each side has 3 pawn moves. White has the reserve tempo, a3, a4. On the queen side, unfortunately, she was too eager to use it. And she plays a4. Let's just see what she plays first, and then he says that white can win. So king d6, king c4, king e6, d5, king d7, king d4. Oh, sorry. King d7. King here. Bam. d6. And here is where white could have used the reserve tempo, but alas, it's already game. King c4, king d7, king d3, king e7. Of course, black would not be the first to go to the mine square d6. The game soon ended in a draw. Okay, so let's see what he has in store for us. So he's saying that king c3. Right, and now the king has to move. If king, so he's saying if king e4, king c4, king captures f4, king d5, coming here and queening his pawn. Okay. On king e6. King c4, king d6, d5, king d7, king d4, threatening to come in, and now on king d6, h3, h6, h4, h5, f3, g6, a4, and then that would have been game because they have to move. And yeah, and now they have to move one of their pawns, and it's gonna be mate. I'm getting the tempo thing, so rehabilitation, man. I'm getting the tempo thing. What's a mine square? Okay, so a mine square, and I'll use this example. Let me go back to it. Okay, so basically, let's go here. Okay. So a mine square is basically whenever, okay, these two squares are mined. The reason is when you go here, let's say they go there, boom, and you don't have an advantage. So whoever goes there first loses the edge. So you always have to look for these kind of situations. So you can, when it comes to tempo, let's say you do go to that square. Let's say you do go to the mine square, the square that if, let's say he has opposition on, right? Let's say he goes here. Now it's your move. Now you're forced to like scramble. So now it's like, okay, I want to play here. Or like, sorry. Let's play this, 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 bam. And now I don't lose my edge. And these are mine squares. So whenever I come here, you go there. Okay, there are more examples of mine squares, and I will link you my video. So I post these videos on YouTube. So if you don't mind my little self plug, I will just direct you to one of my videos because I've covered it extensively. So just give me a second. and I'll get that link for you. I think it might be, yeah, corresponding squares. Some reciprocals. Oh, sorry about that, guys. And a lot of these videos in the Pong Endgames have to do with mine squares, corresponding squares, floating squares. Whoa. Rehabilitation Man, thank you so much for the follow. I just got the notification. Here we go. I got the link for you. That's my YouTube channel. It's very small. I've only just started it. No promoting it at all. But hopefully you like it. I have 5 or 6 videos scheduled for upload soon, so don't miss those. Alright, let's get back into the example. Oh, no problem, Rehabilitation Man. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the follow. Alright, so he has a few exercises. Let's go through the exercises. Thank you for so much for enjoying my stream, and welcome to the Chess Master Squad. Have a great night. Alright, so let's go through the exercise. If you haven't been here before, exercises are, I'll put some music on and you try to solve it. I usually try to give you 2 or 3 minutes depending on the difficulty of the problem, sometimes 30 seconds. And sometimes I'll be mean. Even puzzles that took me a few like 10 or 20 minutes, I'll give you 2 minutes on or 3 minutes on, because I'm not patient enough on stream. Alright, and it is white to move. So these exercises do not have the answers. Okay, and ready. White to move. And let's play this song and go. And also what you want to do is you really want to focus on the thing that I just covered to try to solve these puzzles. I think this one is super easy, so I'm going to give you maybe 30 seconds and I'm going to play that song. Alright. Welcome back. So hopefully you were able to get it. We're just gonna stop all this nonsense over here. Alright? Just stop it. Run his tracks. Right? And we have this reserve temple for us. They can never go past here. Right? I mean, I guess they can. But just play king e2, king d3, bam. So if we play here, we can sacrifice this pawn, bam, bam, and now they have to keep going back, right? King e7, it doesn't matter. Hello, reserve tempo. And we gain everything. Okay. Alright, yeah, and then that one's pretty easy. Let's play the next one. The next exercise. Is it easy because we have already done so many hard puzzles, pawn endgame puzzles? I think that might be it. It's because we have done so many hard endgame puzzles that it is not easy for us. That's what it is. Practice makes perfect. Or actually, sorry, practice makes consistent. And consistency looks like perfection. Okay, yeah. I had a friend of, and also a coworker of mine tell me that practice does not make you perfect. Sometimes you miss, you know. But it makes you consistent. So like if you shoot 500 free throws, you're not gonna get tired. Or like say you shoot 500 free throws, every single day, you're not gonna be tired from 200 or 300 free throws. And I'm using basketball terminology, so I'm sorry, guys, for those of you who do not follow basketball. I do play basketball myself. I love playing. I grew up with it. Alright, so let's do this exercise. It is white to move. And good luck. Alright, welcome back. And hello, Sir Veric, welcome to the stream. And King Dave, F5 first, so let's try to take a look at this. So there's white to move here. Let me make sure the puzzle is correct. Oops. I am so sorry, guys. I made a small mistake. I had you calculating the wrong thing. Oh, oof. That's tough. F5 would have been an amazing move there. But now do this one. I'm so sorry, King Dave, but you were right on the last one. Do this one. I see you learning. Oof, that was a big blunder on my end. And for those of you just stopping in, try to stop the black's play, basically. Just stop. What are we looking at here? We are looking at this puzzle. We're trying to solve it. What's the best move for white? What's the best continuation? Try to, I don't know if it's a win or a draw or a loss, but try to make the best move that you think, and we'll go from there. And if you do have an answer, put it into the chat. We'll do it. And if you're just here for a show, just wait, and I'll see if I can do it with you guys. You're tired. I'm sorry, Morazevich. You're more than welcome. You know, go have a nap. I'll probably be here by the time you're here. I think I'm gonna last another hour or an hour and a half. So you're more than welcome. Or stay, grind it out. I know that endgames are tough, and it's always good to study endgames when you're tired, because endgames come at the end of the game. Alright, sorry for that interruption. Keep going. Alright, and welcome back. Hopefully you guys were able to solve it. I'm gonna give it my go. I just don't want him to push this pawn. We know that this is his break, right? Because if we take, he makes a pass pawn. But we just want to make sure that our king is going to be in the square of the pass pawn, or in the square of the pawn. So I think this move is multi-purposed. Most likely, I mean, I don't know what he plays here. I was trying to calculate b5. That's what I was calculating. And after c captures b5, king b6, not allowing me a tempo, and then king f4. If they play this immediately, then we just play king f4. And then on king b6, king e3, king c5, then we can play f4, stopping all of his play. Right? So let's say play c3, bam. We also have, I think, f5 as one of our moves. But what did you guys come up with? What did you guys come up with? e5 immediately. Let's try that. So e5. I don't know, because after d captures e5, what's the plan? Right? Because he's still gonna break here, and we don't want to waste our reserve tempos. Like, we always have a tempo like this, right? We always have a tempo, and this is blocking him. This pawn is a backwards pawn. Basically, a backwards pawn is a pawn that's the square in front of it is super weak, and it's protected by other things. Oops, sorry, this. So we don't want to waste that tempo. Good night, Morazevich. Let's see. Yeah, so does anybody else? I think this is the answer. It just looks good. And on b6, I mean, what do we play? I think can we just play king f4? King f4. I don't know. King b7. Maybe we want to stay. This is tough. Okay, so basically, maybe we don't want to commit to king b4. Maybe here, and then if he plays b5, then we can always play takes, and if he pushes, then we play king f4. And on king b7, we f4. I think this is just winning. And we get into pretty much the same position that we had last time. And then we just play f5. Hello. And then we can just play king d2. And then remember the floating pawn rule. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, right? So one of our pawns is going to queen. He can't stop both of them. So see how these lessons link to each other? Alright. Let's go into Steinitz rule. And this is going to be straight from the text. I guess it's another subsection. So William Steinitz, the first world champion, put forth the following paradox: that the pawns stand best on their original squares. His explanation: in the endgame, it is useful to have a choice of whether to advance upon 1 or 2 squares. We shall see the point of his idea to its fullest extent in the following subchapters. So I shall limit myself, or himself, Mark Dvoretsky, to just one example of it here. The analysis given below was made by Artur Yusupov, another very famous person, while he was still quite young, with the assistance of the author. This is in 1977, and this is the paradox that he gave, or the puzzle that he created. I'm gonna play some music, a little music in the background, maybe a little low. Alright, cool. So I'm just gonna read from the text. Here we go. We can see at once the idea of a pawn breakthrough on the queen side. Okay, so let's look at the position. I haven't looked at it yet. So yeah, there's a potential pawn breakthrough. This pawn possibly, and then pushing this pawn, this pawn. So the possibility is there, definitely, and we're in control of that. Black has no real control. I mean, what is he gonna play here? Well, then we don't do anything, right? We can always just play here, and we have a reserve tempo. Okay, so oops, sorry, and it's white to move. And let me just make sure I didn't change anything. You know how I do, having you analyze positions that aren't from the text. So okay, he said that after a2 a4 and c4 c5, and obviously it will have no chance of succeeding unless the black king is taken far enough away. First, it is necessary to put black on the move. It is also important to leave the a pawn where it is, since from its original square it has a choice of moving 1 or 2 squares forward. So we're going to play king f4. In playing this, white must be prepared for g6, h6, g5. Now the pawn breakthrough works. Right, so he saying that after g6, h6, g5, that you should play king e3. The best square for the king to deal with the black pawns on both this line and this line. Hey, sorry, just give me a second, guys. I had to go deal with something. So I'm just gonna leave you with some music. So sorry about that, guys. Okay. Let's put this down. Really sorry that I had to pause there. But where was I? Okay. So he said that after king e3, the best square for the king to deal with the black pawns. So after king g6, a4, king captures c6, c5, b captures. So he gives in this if d captures, a5 captures, and then we play here, and this is queening because the king cannot get into the square of the pawn. Well, when we push it, it's going to be this, and the king is not in the square of the pawn. Okay, right, d4, d5, d6, and that's very easy to see. And let's go back. So after king captures h6, c5, and if b captures, then we play a5. Let me just make sure. a5, and if c4, a6. b captures, c3, a7, king, boom, boom, and we are winning. So king f4, king e7, king g5. The king goes to g6, after which white, thanks to the fact that his pawn is still on a2, can execute the breakthrough at the ideal moment when black's king is on g8, right outside of this pawn. Okay, so king f8, king g6, king g8, a3, and if king f8, a4. We don't want to. So the reason we didn't play a4 immediately is because now after king f8, we don't have a5, or sorry, c5 with that tempo break, because he can guard against it. But if we play a3, a4, and him coming back, now we have the move c5. So king f8, king g6, a3, king f8, a4, king g8, c5. Let's make the d pawn capture. D captures c5, a5, b captures, bam. b6, c captures b, and then bam. d6, king f8, d7, king e7, king captures, g7, a4, h6, a3, a2, a2. We queen first with check, right? That's an important point. Queen with check first, and then after the king captures, we play queen h8 check. So yeah, an incautious pawn advance on the move on move 1 would have let the win slip. Black in response need only be careful which square he picks for his king. For example, after a3, let's go back. After first a3, king f7 would be a mistake. King f5, king e7, king g6, king f8, a4, getting to the exact same position. But if he plays a3 now, he can play. So he can play, instead of that, he can play here. So, oops, sorry. On A3. Oops, did I make a mistake? Okay, so on A3 he can play King E7, King G5, King F8, exclam, King G6, King G8, A4, King F8, and he says the breakthrough doesn't work now, and the move losing maneuver is no longer possible. Okay. So, this is another subsection. So we've gone over Steinitz, I think it was Steinitz rule, that the pawns are always better on the home, basically, where they start. Now we're going to go over the G and the H pawns versus the H pawn. Okay, I'm going to read right from the text. With black's pawn on its starting square, the only winning plan becomes a king invasion at h6. Right, the king invasion at h6. Even the conquest of the h6 square, however, only guarantees victory in the event that one of white's pawn remains on the second rank, in order to have the choice between moving one or two squares. Black to move loses. So if black to move, h6, king f5, king f7, h3. He gives that if h4, then king g7, king e6 is possible too. Let's go back, and if king h3, king f5, king f7, and then he plays h3, king g7, h4, king f7, king h5. Alright, and he gives another line. He gives it another line here. Where it's if f7, king h6, king g8, g5, king h8, h4, king g8, h5, king h8, g6, h captures g, h captures g, bam, bam, and we get a girl. Okay. And now, so this is a position that you want to have in your head, that you want to memorize this position. So if black to move loses, if white to move, the position is drawn. Okay. If king g8, king h6, exclam. If king f6, so if king g8, if king f6, then king f8 is a draw. Fair enough. Okay, so let's say king g8, king h6, king h8, g5, and now we want to calculate that we want the king on this square when we push, and when we like push and take, so we can push again and get the queen. Right, so bye amigos. Are you heading out, FT? Take care. So on g5, king g8, now we play h3 here because of king h8. Now we have the h4 advance, and now oops, not there. He's not there. Sorry, it's here. The h4 advance. Bam, take. He pushes here. Boom, 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 and we're winning. Okay. And now he says, but with white to move, the position is drawn. And that's some stuff. King f5, king f7 is useless, and on king h5, h6 draws. The h pawn moves, and black only needs to select the right square for the king to retreat to. So h3, king g8 exclamation point, h6, king h8, g5, king g8, h4, king h8, h5, king g8, g6, and we have a stalemate. Clearly, h4 would have been met by king f7 when we first said that. Matters are more complicated when the defending side's pawn has already left its starting square. Here, everything depends on the nuances of king and pawn position. The ideas inherent in such positions are aptly illustrated by the following study. So let's put the following study. And after this, I think we will go. It's been enough lesson time, and I'm getting a little bit tired. I've been teaching for I taught 8 hours today. I taught 8 hours of chess, so I'm pretty much chessed out. If there is anything you want to see before I leave, let me know so I can do it for you. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of the stream. Okay, so let's go back to the other page. And he plays, this is what the text says. If you play g4 here, king f7, the position is lost. For example, if h5, king e6. That's one way, and then we're going to come and collect the pawn, right? Alright, so he gives this idea. King g3. So king g3. King e7. King f7 is met by king g4. Now king g6, h5 would be useless after king f7, g5, h5 would be useless, and after, let's go back. So after king e6, king f4 exclamation point. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. If he gains opposition, bam, and now we can just get opposition forever. Alright. So let's go back to the example. And then if king g3, king e7, king f3, exclam. And of course not king f4 because king e6, and then he has some ideas. King f3, king f6, king e4 exclamation point. Still the same principle at work with the pawn on g7 anti-opposition. So we talked about this, the knight's opposition. Okay. King f7, king e3, king e7, king f3. And this is the anti-opposition. Because it doesn't matter about the opposition, because it just matters about what these pawns are doing. And you want anti-opposition. So amazing stuff. And we're going to stop there. Thank you so much. And I don't see anything in the stream. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut it here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Love you guys. Thank you so much. If you appreciate what I do have a donate button. You don't have to donate. Everything is free here. But I could afford food if you do. Give me a like on YouTube, and follow me on Twitch if you like the content. If you don't, sorry, and tell me what I can do to